Welcome to Mindflow Radio.
Mindflow Radio.
She's Jai.
And he is Monte. So buckle your seatbelts.
And get ready to take a trip towards reality.
Woohoo! Happy August, everyone.
Here we are, the end of summer.
Whoa. I love summer so much.
Mm-hmm. Fall's beautiful too, just saying.
I know. I'm born in the fall, so that's supposed to be my favorite. But I just love summer, and so I'm going to enjoy every day as much as possible.
Okay. Sounds like you're going to be working on presents.
Yes. I do try to work on presents. Not that good at it, but
It's challenging. What does it mean even?
For me, when I can be present, it's more of a place of observing where I'm at. So it's not so much listening intently to a podcast, or I guess it could be, but for me, it's more feeling the breeze, looking around me. I guess this is if I'm outside. Noticing any other noises, but not so much listening to them or trying to label them, but more feeling and being. And I feel the hard part is it's easy to be attempting to be present and then all of a sudden feel bored and reach for my phone.
Well, that's the addiction, right?
I guess so.
What I've come to conclude is that I would say 99.9% of us are addicted to our screens. And it's just a matter of how addicted are we?
Yeah.
You know? Where are you on the screen time continuum addiction? You know? Where do you think you are?
Oh, me? Yeah. It's really interesting because I was so proud of myself because I don't look at Facebook very much, but when I have a bunch of time by myself, I fill it with a podcast or a meditation, like a guided meditation. So it's like I'm not watching this screen, but I'm listening to the screen. Right. And whenever I have a moment, I'm checking my screen like, oh, did someone text me? Oh, no. Oh, did someone text me? No. I should check my email. Yeah. I'll check this email and this email and this email. Oh, and I should check my notifications. And then I put it down. And about 2 minutes go by and I'm like, oh, did someone text me? Oh, no. It's sick, really. It's a sickness, probably.
Well, it's an addiction. It's a behavioral addiction that we all... And and what I was going to say is when I do overdose on the phone, when I'm not moderate, when I do look at it too much, I scroll too much, when I'm done with that, that's when I get bored. Right. My mind is stunned. My mind feels stunned. My mind has been overwhelmed by this massive amount of data. And a lot of it's disturbing information, and my mind is trying to process. That's how the mind works. You ingest information. I'm talking about the mental diet here. You ingest information, and then the mind processes the information. And in this modern world, we just can ingest this massive amount of information and misinformation and propaganda and just the whole thing. People trying to sell us stuff and people trying to make us feel insecure, so we buy things. And,
that worked for me.
Whatever it is, it's just... It's so crucially important for myself to push back on that particular addiction, the screen time addiction, because...
Yeah, it's really interesting because I know you as well. I get up in the morning and I do not look at my phone first. That's not what I do.
Yeah.
But what you're saying about when you have too much screen time and then you're bored, I have really been experiencing that. And that's when I'm checking my phone over and over and over. Because it's...
Yeah, you're looking for that excitement.
Yeah.
That one exciting thing. It's like you're looking for the dopamine hit. It's like the rat pressing a bar.
Right.
Trying to get its fix.
Yeah. And I feel like I lost that thought.
Well, a lot of what it is, I think, is that we don't honor our own minds. We haven't been trained to honor our minds in this culture. We're trained that, oh yeah, just watch TV at night and watch the news and go to bed. And I mean, just our culture is very pro screen time, and it's but in being pro screen time, essentially what we're saying is our minds, we don't understand how powerful our minds are.
Mm-hmm.
We don't understand how our minds are the key to what we're going to manifest in our lives. And what are we going to manifest if we just spend all our time with status quo thoughts, i.e., the news, scrolling,
commercials,
all that. That's like status quo information. Well, we're going to manifest a status quo life.
Mm-hmm. Or as Dr. Joe would say, manifests randomly because you're not in control of your own mind.
Yeah, well,
so if you're exposed to propaganda or things like that, so then you are manifesting randomly propaganda things because you
it doesn't lead to lots of happiness or progress.
Right.
That's why I really believe from a psychological and just philosophical perspective that developing a manifesting mindset is really one key to just feeling like achieving what we're meant to achieve in our lives.
So how do you develop a manifesting mindset?
Well, I mean, it begins by just, what do I want to create in my life? Just ponder that. What am I good at as well? What are my skills? What are my innate talents and abilities? And how am I going to use these talents and abilities to create whatever I want to create?
Mm-hmm.
But just spending some time pondering that, and then all the while being moderate with our screen time. So we're being good to our minds. Otherwise, that really infringes on our mind's ability to think clearly. Because we need clarity to really achieve much.
Last spring or this past spring, I went to visit my son, and he was watching a lot of TV, and he knows I didn't watch TV when they were growing up, but he didn't really understand why. And so I'm at his house and the TV's on, and he's trying to talk to me because he's so used to the TV being on, and I couldn't talk. I would literally be looking at the screen with my jaw dropped, my eyes bugging out of my head, and I'm just watching intently. And he's sitting there talking to me like, "Mama, hello." And he finally turned the TV off, and I was able to whoa, wait, what just happened? And he's like, "Now I understand why you don't watch TV." I literally can't handle it.
Right. And a lot of people are just so used to it being on in the background, they can deal with it, but it still affects them. Because all that messaging is sinking in and sinking into their subconscious. And
sure. But I just give it 100% of my attention. I can't, for whatever reason, unless it's repulsive.
Yeah.
If there's something really repulsive, I can look away. But otherwise, it locks me in.
Well, and that's the nature of the human mind. I think I was thinking about that this weekend. How we're drawn to information. It makes sense for we come from our ancestors, and any new information was super valuable.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa! There's new tracks. What does that mean? Let's get hyper focused. But we live in this world now where all this data is just flying at us from all these nefarious sources, and
I like that word, nefarious.
Yeah.
I don't even know what it means.
It means uncool.
Oh, okay.
Sources.
Darn,
one way
I like that
word. Yeah, I mean, but we need to take our mental diet into account. And it's one thing we're not taught that mental diet is important at all. Like there's a big focus on physical diet, the food we eat and blah, 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 and blah, blah. And that's all important, but I think the mental diet is even more critical because the mental diet determines our attitude, and our attitude determines our health.
Okay. Well, I just have to challenge that again from the perspective of not watching TV or movies and having a pretty, I guess the tone of my life has not been very positive, and to be a positive person takes a lot of effort for me.
Right. I mean, but more.
It's not because of the screen.
No, but I mean, I've been there too. I lived in a cabin in the UP for a year with no screen time, and a lot of the time my mind was just obsessing about other things. Mm-hmm. So I was struggling. I mean, but not having the screen, at least if we can combine that with good cognitive skills, such as metacognition, watching our thoughts, and noticing when our thoughts are unproductive or when we're caught in rumination, we're thinking, notice when we're overthinking, notice when we're engaging in negative self-talk, and just shining our light of awareness on that and either trying to reboot or re-steer our minds. Mm-hmm. That's a skill I didn't have when I was living in a cabin. Mm-hmm. But if I could combine that skill with a healthy mental diet, I think that's the key, or one key to really being able to fully reach our destinies. I think we're all destined for amazing things. Mm-hmm. And everybody's destiny is a bit different depending on their particular skill set.
I just have to throw this in because it's what popped in my mind. Yeah. But Jai and Monte talks about our purpose is that we are life living through us, and the purpose is to become as conscious as possible of that we are life living through us. Yeah.
It's like a deeper understanding of who we are.
Right. And I know that purpose and destiny can be different. Yeah. And maybe we're all...
But that's the same for all of us.
Right.
Yeah. If we can all understand we're soulful beings, essentially. And these bodies are just... We're
our vessel.
Yeah. A vessel, a home,
I used to think of it... Yeah. That's what I prefer, the idea of a temple. And
I like a vehicle.
Yeah, a vehicle, you can trash your vehicle.
Oh, yeah.
But a temple, there's a little more reverence to it. There's altars and some incense burning. Right. And, if somebody throws their trash on the ground, it's not like, oh, well, it's a temple. No, you pick that up. Yeah. So I feel like when I look at myself as a temple, I definitely approach, my body as a temple. One thing that I've really been working on this past month was to disidentify with symptoms and difficulties that are happening in my body, and to see it as a temple and to trust its uniqueness, the idea that there's something wrong with me, or, there's diagnoses to be made or whatever. That's not the point. The temple is still valuable, valid, but I don't need to identify with it.
No, well, that's it. If we can self-identify with our souls, everything gets lighter in our minds. Because then
walking through this earth in this body, it's like, oh yeah, well, there's this and that, but I am this age, and therefore these things happen, and it's my temple. It's biodegradable.
Well, it's a temporary gig, no matter how you slice it.
Right.
I mean, we're spiritual beings having a temporary human experience. Perhaps that's what I believe. Yeah. And it's a temporary gig, and that's what Marcus Aurelius talks about constantly. It's like keep things into perspective.
Right.
this is like not the end. This is just, I mean, you take a timeline of 1,000,000 years and then you insert 100 years into that. It's just like a flash of lightning. That's how long our bodies are here for. Let's just try our best. Perhaps if there's reincarnation, there's another body coming up, I mean, I don't think any of us really know, but I do know that 100 years goes quickly. And not to get too caught up in the material world. That's the path to contentedness, really. And I think contentedness is probably the most underrated feeling there is. I think that's what we all sort of really want that, but we don't know how to get it. We all want this contentedness. It's like, oh, if I just really had that new car, then I'd be content. If I had that new plane or the new boat or the new whatever.
Well, what that brings up for me is almost looping back to the first minute of today's show is presence. Because if one can get present, contentment is just natural. It's just a part of it.
Yeah. And presence too is sort of like a timeless state.
Right.
It's just here you are. Not worried about the past, not worried about the future. Just present. And presence is the state of just feeling alive. And we all want that too, and we have different ways of getting there. But if we can just naturally have moments of presence throughout the day, then we're in a really resilient place, and we're able to think more clearly and manifest more effectively.
So this is bringing up for me a song that we do called Timeless. And so we will share this one with you and come back with some skills on how to be in that timeless place. And enjoy. Here we are in this moment. How was that for you? Did you enjoy being a part of a song baby's birth? Here is a guided breath and contemplation to ground you into this moment a little bit deeper. How does your breath feel in this moment? Noticing your inhale and your exhale. Feeling your lungs from the bottom to the top, from the back to the front. Feeling the width of your shoulders as you inhale deeply. Noticing how you come back to neutral as you slowly exhale. Bringing awareness to your heart center, the center of your chest. Noticing any sensation. What does it feel like to focus on your heart center? Noticing the tone of the moment. Are you feeling relaxed, tense, present, anxious, joyful? Whatever you're feeling, noticing it. Evoking an emotion, evoking gratitude, thankfulness, feeling grateful. It may simply be a feeling that you're familiar with, a moment in the past that made you feel grateful. Or you may simply bring to you the sensation of gratitude, feeling such full gratitude, gratefulness, thankfulness. Each breath, so grateful for all of the parts of this temple, this body, that are working seamlessly, without effort, without thought, with zero cognitive effort. The body does its thing, functions, and brings you towards health as much as it can. Feeling gratitude for this miraculous body that just does its thing. Grateful for all the parts of you in your temple that are functioning. And taking a few deep breaths to just bring awareness, letting go of any worries or concerns about the parts of the body that aren't working well, and fully focusing on the parts of you that you may not be able to label because they haven't had any problems. So you simply are grateful for the parts of you that are working well. And one more deep breath. Thank you, 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 thank you. Thank you. Are we feeling present now?
Yeah. Thank you, Jalen, for that.
Yeah, that was really cool. So that was 2 spontaneous, improvisational, mindful, musical
creations.
Yes.
Okay.
So where were we? We were talking about timelessness and contentment and manifesting mindset. That's what I remember.
Yeah. Well, maybe I could talk a little bit about the three aspects that help create a manifesting mindset.
Sure.
3 aspects: breath regulation, right? And this is something you can take with you throughout the day, right? It's breath regulation, making sure you're breathing properly, which most of us don't, by the way. Most of us get caught up in shallow breathing. So just having that long, relaxed exhale is a good step in the right direction. Breath regulation, postural regulation is number 2. Just noticing how your body is aligned with the earth, and perhaps bringing the heart forward. The knees are soft. The head is being pulled up from above. Again, something to just take with you throughout the day. And the third aspect is mind regulation or thought regulation. And so watching your thoughts and then rebooting and re-steering as is appropriate. So if you can combine those 3 aspects, the thought regulation, postural regulation, and breath regulation, you're much more able to find clarity in your mind. You're much more able to find the present moment in your mind. And therefore, you're much more able to be a powerful and a positive manifester. Mm-hmm. So I try and employ those 3 aspects as a way to really achieve the manifesting mindset.
Okay.
Yeah.
It seems to me that all of those are probably unfamiliar for people in general. And granted, I know there are some people who have good posture and some people who do breathe in an optimal way naturally. And those people probably already have a fair mindset because it's just semi-natural. If those 2, if the posture and the breath are aligned, then the mind is just naturally already must be there because, I mean, as somebody who really postural awareness has been this amazing effort that I've had to gain from over and over resetting and noticing having a default of super slouch and a default in my breath of very shallow and holding the long periods of time. It's taken a lot of effort to gain any awareness.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just knowing what you're working with is step one.
Yeah,
right?
Totally.
And then, gamify it. Would be my suggestion. Make a game out of it. Okay, how much of the day can I breathe optimally? I mean, I'm traditionally a shallow breather, so my goal is for 51% of my waking time, the day, I'd like to try and breathe optimally.
51% is a lot.
It is a lot, but it's doable.
I'd be happy with 10%.
Well, yeah, I mean, gamify it. Shoot for 10% today and 90% tomorrow.
Yeah,
just kidding.
Yeah, right.
15% tomorrow.
I feel like if I can just remember to take a few conscious breaths in an hour, that would be amazing. I'd like to figure out how to set that up on my phone so it would remind me. I know one of our friends had this timer that would go off whenever he had it set for, and we would all just stop and take a breath whenever that happened. And I want to figure out how to do that because I feel I need these tools and these helpers to help me remember because I'm just not very good at it. Its default is so much easier.
Well, right. It's easier, but it's not easier because it's being stuck.
Right.
And what we're trying to do is create a new default mode now,
which is not a simple task.
So we're working on reprogramming our subconscious mind essentially.
And I do want to say, since I'm making it sound so difficult, that gamifying it does help. And if we are here to become more and more conscious, then it's worth every ounce of effort that's put in.
Well, and that's the great thing about this kind of training is there's essentially no downside to it.
Right.
If I start working with my mind more, for example, and notice where my thoughts are, and if I'm moderate with my mental diet, moderate and choosy with my mental diet, that definitely helps my thoughts be more effective and in harmony with the universe per se.
Yeah.
And that's, but there's no downside to that. I'm saying there's no downside to having good posture.
Right.
There's no downside to breathing effectively.
Right.
The only possible downside is you forget for a while and then you beat yourself up.
Right. That's what went through my mind too.
But the cool thing is, let's say you're working on your breath. If you forget about it, and be like, oh, I forgot about it all this time. All you have to do is breathe, and then you're back on it. So instead of beating yourself up, what do? You deepen the inhale and feel those ribs expand. You deepen the exhale, and at the end of the exhale, you can pull your stomach in. You deepen the inhale, have the ribs expand. You deepen that exhale. End of the exhale, pulling the stomach in. And this is a practice you can do as you're walking through the grocery store, right? Or you're driving your car, or wherever you are. It's just going to help your body be more effective, right? Because you're breathing in more oxygen and you're exhaling the CO2 more effectively. It's going to help your mind. It's going to help your brain. It's going to help your muscles. All these practices, they all work together, but they're all designed to help you feel more empowered. If you combine those three, the breath regulation, thought regulation and postural regulation just throughout the day. Once you get the hang of it, it's like, oh, I got this, and then you just start naturally feeling better. It's when we feel disempowered that we have more anxiety and more depression and more anger, right? All that comes from a feeling of disempowerment. And disempowerment, it begins in our own minds. That's the problem. We tend to like point our fingers. Oh, I'm feeling disempowered because of those people and those people and those people. It's like, no. Let's start at the beginning here. I'm feeling disempowered because I'm stuck in my old mind patterns.
Yeah, taking responsibility is empowering in itself.
Well, yeah, it is. And mind patterns lead to behavioral patterns, such as like overdosing on screen time.
Yeah.
Which is it's a downward spiral.
Yeah. So I wanted to share a skill that was the beginning of my shift personally about 20 years ago. Exactly. Bhakti. And what is Bhakti? Bhakti is a yogic path, Bhakti yoga, and it is about chanting to hone the mind. And the chanting is out of devotion for the divine. And there's so many different chants. There's also many languages that chants are in. Any kind of a spiritual chant is a bhakti yoga thing because it's bringing you into that devotional and mind honing place. And that has been my most successful way as somebody that overthinks compulsively to bring the mind into balance, into quiet. So when you were talking about rebooting or re-steering, that is my best way when I'm having so much of a hard time. And I do want to say that it can be in the form of affirmations. And recently Monte and I were on a walk and I was saying something really negative about my healing journey. And he was like, do you realize that you say that a lot? And it was something, I don't know, along the lines of, it's not working. I'm trying and it's not working. Something like that. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I literally teared up, choked up, like noticing that this was true. And I asked for help. What would I say that could honor what is and be open to what could be? And he said, my mind is healing and my body is following. And that just made me so happy. And so I've been using that over the last few days. It's got to be something that you feel in your body as true, because just chanting an affirmation over and over out loud or in your mind, if your body doesn't believe it, then it's really just chatter. But if it's calming your mind down, then that's okay too. But to actually get your body in line as well, from what I've learned from manifesting, the body has to be on board too for it to really work. And so it's important to hone the mind. But I think that's where you're going with the postural awareness and the breath awareness, because that brings you into the body. And if you have that compulsive thought, or if you are dealing with physical ailments, it can be hard to get the body to be a part of the healing journey, because it is the densest part of us is our body. But the rest of us is much lighter and faster. The mind is very fast and the nerves are very fast, and there's just all this quickening, but the body itself is the densest thing that we have, and we have to let it catch up. We have to be there for it to catch up.
So the mind leads the way.
Yeah, the mind. Essentially. Yeah, so that mantra you helped me come up with was just so fitting. my mind is healing, my body follows. Oh, okay. So it's like an effort to, or what is it? It's an allowance to my body to take its time because I can't rush it.
Yeah, and be patient. And be open-minded to the idea that you are healing.
So that's the thing. I've just been having so many little epiphanies and from bouncing things off of friends, my partner, my kids. It just seems like my ability to relate is guiding me into these epiphanies and breakthroughs in really beautiful ways that I am super, super grateful for. And that's my manifesting journey. I know that for some people, I'm not a good example because it has taken me so long. I've been on this journey for basically 30 years, and I have made a lot of progress, but I don't always talk about the progress. I talk about how far there is to go still. And that can be concerning to someone who's just starting the journey. But it kind of goes back to the idea of every ounce of effort that we bring into becoming conscious is worthy. And it doesn't matter how far you get. Really, it matters that you're becoming conscious.
Well, that kind of gets down to the path is the destination.
Right.
As long as we're heading in the right direction, we're on the path. And I have this new idea in my mind that the path is perfection. And then therefore, like the path is, it's the ratchet effect. You go up 2 steps, take a step back, etc. But all that is part of progress. And it's all part of the perfection of my own life. Because I'm constantly taking steps back. But I'm just trying to realize that all the various challenges I create for myself are opportunities for me to learn and grow. And
that brings up 2 things for me. What is a refractory period? And refractory period is the amount of time it takes you to come back. So
balance.
Yep. Everybody gets triggered. To what extent? Yeah. Everyone's got variations of the extent they get triggered.
Yeah.
And that's normal. The question is, progress is measured by how quickly you can come back. So, what used to take me 5 days is now taking me hours. So that, yes, I'm still going through these processes, but the amount of time it takes me is so much shorter, and that is the measure of progress.
Yeah, you're noticing the progress.
Yeah. And then the other piece that I wanted to share is this little bit from Ajashanti, and he talks about when a baby is learning to walk. There's no cognitive, the baby's not going, why can't I walk yet? Or it's not beating itself up for not walking yet. And then he talks about how when a baby falls, it's not a bad thing. It's actually a part of learning how to balance. So that helped me a lot, because when I think about all the times I fall, or when you think about any time where you're back to slouching or shallow breathing or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you can go into that beating the self up or critiquing the self. If you can remember, it's like a baby learning to walk, and you're just learning how to be conscious, and you fell down. That's okay. It's a part of learning how to balance.
Yeah, that's really important, because I find for myself when I make mistakes, a lot of times I really beat myself up. But when I look at it from the bigger picture, it's like, I just don't know whatever I'm doing good enough. I'm going to make a mistake, and that's like the baby falling, and it's natural. And what am I going to do? Am I going to just stay down?
Right. Or just start wailing.
Yeah, right.
Roll on your back and wail and never get up again.
Yeah, I give up. Or just beat myself up for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And let's face it, negative self-talk is an epidemic in our culture, too.
It's super
it's something, I think we're trained to engage in negative self-talk, even, just through the media trying to sell us stuff. I think a lot of that leads to negative self-talk. Like the vibration is like, feel insecure, so you need to buy that car. Or feel insecure, you need to have those clothes. Feel insecure, and you need to, whatever. Mm-hmm. But it's based on like feel insecure, which is negative self-talk. Mm-hmm. You see? And it's totally. The more we can reduce that, the better off we are. And it's empowering to be able to reduce the negative self-talk. And it's not easy because sometimes I make some real mistakes. Mm-hmm. And those mistakes haunt me in the middle of the night occasionally, like last night, for example.
Oh, bummer. Yeah.
But you just got to roll with it and just pick yourself up.
Yeah.
It's the human journey is not necessarily easy.
Right. Yeah.
It's not designed to be easy. We all have struggles, all of us.
Yeah. I love seeing it as just learning to walk. We're just learning to be conscious.
And we're learning who we are, essentially. And we're all, I believe, like, unless you're enlightened, dear listener, you may be, but unless you're enlightened, we're all confused to a certain degree.
Right.
And it's just a continuum. How confused are you? If you can be less confused tomorrow than you are today, you're heading in the right direction. And that's the way I see it from myself. Mm-hmm.
Totally.
It's all this. It's this journey towards clarity, essentially, towards being able to shine my light of attention on what's real.
Yeah.
I.e., my soul and your soul. Mm-hmm. To me, that's real.
And another real thing that's been shown to be true is that we're made of 99.999% space. So
yeah, or we're made of 100% vibration.
Right. So when we get too caught up in the matter at hand, to lighten up or to let go of the grip, let go of the tension, let the space come back to its optimal place.
Yeah.
And to focus on the space a little bit. Give yourself a break. Sit back, relax. Don't fill every moment with sound and light and moving parts, but to take time to feel into that space, that frequency.
Find some quiet.
And realize that that's more real than a lot of the things that we're worried about.
Yeah. Well, and if you need to occupy your mind, how about trying to just ponder infinity for a bit?
Right.
It's serious.
Right. Yeah. No, I agree.
It's a very, very...
and feel infinity.
Well, yeah, as much as we can. I mean, we can never cognitively actually understand it. It's like the world's biggest koan.
Right. But feeling into it is different than understanding it, To feel into that expansiveness that expands beyond expanding. There's no limit. It's limitless. It's timeless. It's
timeless.
I guess we're going back to that place. And I do want to wrap around everything and the manifesting mindset and being in the present and being content and being in that timeless place, because presence is where we manifest. Because if we're not in the present, where are we? We're worrying about the past or the future. And if we're worrying about the future, we're most likely painting it to be similar to the past, or to be like some nightmare that we're afraid of, or, to be in the present, though, is to be in the actual unknown, because we that is the timeless, spacious, infinite moment.
But in a way, though, the present is the only thing that can be known. It's the future that's unknown. And it's the past that we remember incorrectly. It's unknown in a way.
But, okay, I see where you're going.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. But what I'm trying to explain is that when we're thinking about the past, it's the known in our body. Like maybe we're making up details, maybe we're exaggerating details, maybe it's not fully factual,
right.
But in our body, it's known, it's familiar. The past is our familiar place. And when we start worrying about the future, well, there's two sides to the future, right? Worrying that the future will be like the past. And the other side is hoping and wishing that the future will be like we want, but we don't feel we deserve it or that we're worthy of it.
Or we can think about a great future too.
But usually when people think about a great future, there's this underlying feeling of, but I can't make that happen.
Oh, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't have that. I mean, sometimes I do.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
But sometimes I'm like, no, I see like a really bright future for humanity. And I believe perhaps that it's destined to be that way. Mm-hmm. And we're all going to get along someday, and we're all going to, and everybody will be able to eat good food and have clean water and clean air, and there won't be any more wars. Mm-hmm. I mean, I believe that that's a distinct possibility, perhaps the destiny of humankind, so.
And I would have to say that I feel that if that is to come true, that more of us have to be comfortable in the present moment.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. I mean, people who accomplish anything are the ones who are able to be present. Mm-hmm. The great musicians are able to be present. The great athletes, the great scientists, they're present. They're like looking at the atom and figuring it out. What is that? In the moment, what is it?
Yeah.
So all the great people who significantly improve the world have definitely the ability to be present a lot of the time. Mm-hmm. So it is worth striving for.
Yes, absolutely.
More presence.
And the presence is where we can manifest from. So we have basically run out of time for this month. And do you have any poignant points you want to re-speak?
Yeah, I guess I'd just like to talk about regulating posture.
Okay.
Just real quickly, it's from a Zen perspective. If you have the proper posture, your mind goes into the place of awareness. If you have the posture of awareness, your head's up, then your mind just naturally goes there. And they've done studies on posture as well that indicate that confidence comes from good posture. Mm-hmm. So anyway, postural awareness is a big deal that you can pretty much play around with and work with throughout the day. And it's very worthwhile. And you just combine that with breath regulation and thought regulation, and boom.
Nice.
Yeah. Empowerment equals empowerment, an empowered lifestyle.
Yeah. So thank you all for being with us. This show, Mindflow Radio, has been going on for 9 years now.
Dang.
Yeah. So we're going to start making some plans for some fun 10th year anniversary parties. But till then, we will definitely keep you up to date. And I do want to say that we are actually going to play that song that we were going to play earlier, Timeless. So we're going to go out with that one. Have a great month working with your posture, your breath, and your mindset. And let's develop the present moment into being a beautiful, bright future. With meaning.